Okay, guys, I am back, and I have to apologize about the camera died right when I was trying to end this. And plus someone had walked in, and we're going to get right back to this. And what I was saying before, hopefully, I think I can remember what I was saying, that why it's good to attack in the first phase. You know, that's why you want your attacks hopefully to come up, so you can just kill this champion monster right out. And where you left off with, where the camera was dying, we have, of course, 12, and looking at Palom's stuff here, and I have a new system here where I'm just going to be able to slide everything and show you. I think this might work better. She had +3 on her card to add to that 12, so that's 15, plus the Thieves Guard, +2. So she killed that champion right out. But I caught something, and let me show you. First of all, of course, we're going to take the 2 off and 3, and we have killed this massive viper. But what I forgot was this, that there is special abilities that some champion monsters have. And I'm going to grab the other massive viper. Know that there's elite and normal champion monsters. And let me grab that other card for you. I might have show you something else here, another monster. Okay, what I wanted to say was, I hope you don't mind me breaking this down. My goal is to get as much information as I can to you about Dungeon Crusade. Let's take a look here. This is a normal massive viper, and for all the monsters in the game, I wrote origin stories. Like, for right here, this massive viper. This came from the Dungeon of 13 Moons. And it just gives like a little bit of history I wrote, some lore. And notice there's a silver star, but then in this one there's a gold star. And when you see a champion monster with a gold star, that you've ran into an elite one, and they have nasty special abilities. So what I forgot, and we're going to do now, is we're going to go and do this, because we should have done this right when the combat started. Okay? So before we do this, let's show you that we did kill that, in fact. And remember phase 3? That right over here, if we look at Palom's card, that she was attacking with that axe in ranged warfare, which was just, we were trying to land a hit. But, my point being is, if we look back at the massive viper, it was a 9. She only scored an 8. Had, she had not killed it, she would have been damaged. So that's what, going back, that was my point, that it's good to kill these champions right off, because right then, if we didn't, she would have taken damage from that. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to clear the dice tray, and I'm going to go back, because I should have done this, and I'm sorry, just trying to explain everything, I missed it. So this one has, because it's an elite, thrashing strike before combat. Let me explain this too. This is very simple. When you see before combat, this means a special ability for one time is going to happen before anything else. So just picture the heroes walk in, and this massive viper strikes out. And it's going to do, before combat. So before anything, we had to do this. So I apologize to you. We're going to do it now. Before combat, each hero must test strength 11 to block the viper. On a fail, the hero takes 1 damage and loses 1 essence. Also test physical resistance 12. On a fail, that hero is stricken with a physical affliction. And that's why I had these cards out for you. Let's do the test first. So let's just say this, again, I hate messing up, but I play very fair and square. So we're going to go with Sir Brennus, okay, for the test. Let's take a look at his. So we have to test strength, right? He has a strength of 2. So we can add that to this roll. So we're going to take a d20, and we have to try to block this massive viper. Okay, oh, look how close that was. He scored an 8. Therefore, 8, even with on his stat with 2, that's only a 10. So he did not. So what's going to happen is he's going to take 1 damage. Go over to his hero card. We're going to move this down, and then he's going to lose 1 essence for that, because he was bit. Furthermore, there's afflictions in Dungeon Crusade. Remember when I said I wanted to make this kind of like simulation-ish, arcadey? Heroes can have different afflictions in this game, and I think it's very appropriate because you're in a dungeon, and bad things can happen. So what we're going to do is we have to do a resistance check. And this is very simple. Down here, and you do not add any kind of bonuses. You have to go off this. Besides adding this to warfare, these are your resistances against a physical affliction, a spiritual affliction, so on and so forth. These are the cards you'll get, and there's first degree afflictions and second. Basically, if you have a first degree and you would get another affliction, you're going to flip it over, you're going to have the first degree, and you're going to have that. And what's going to happen is you're going to lose the D6 in rolling, so you have something really bad. A second degree affliction is bad. So quite simply, if you remember on the card, right here it says we're going to, that's up here. Right here is we're going to have to test that physical affliction, 12. So we get to add his, down here, 3 to these resistance rolls. Okay? So we're going to, hopefully, we didn't get an affliction from this massive viper. And we could add 3 to this roll. 8 and 3 is 11. Unfortunately, Sir Brennus is going to take an affliction for that. Because remember, we had to beat 12. And so he is going to be bleeding. And this actually goes into upkeep. Remember, at upkeep, real simple, lose 1 health at the start of every upkeep phase. So now he's going to have this on his card. Quite simply, you're going to move the health track, the track down slowly. How do you cure afflictions? Elixirs. In the village, Albus, of course, can bring these back. You have to drink an elixir potion. An elixir will cure a hero of all afflictions. So even if you have multiple ones, 1 bottle will do you. So I'm glad that came up, because now you know what afflictions are, and you saw the cards for them. So now we have to test. Sorry to draw this out, but again, I want to teach everything I can about the game. We're going to move over to Paloom. She has to do the same test. Again, I'm sorry I didn't do this at the start. So again, we're going to test strength. She doesn't have the greatest strength. She only has a 2 or a 1 there. So we're going to have to roll the D20. We have to beat 11. And wow, she didn't either. So she also, the massive viper, is going to damage her for 1. And she's going to lose 1 essence. And these are normal difficulty. Real quick, these are normal difficulty monsters. See that little skull? In Dungeon Crusade, I created 3 difficulties for right now. The game ships with normal difficulty monsters. On our Pledge Manager, there's expert difficulty and heroic. And different, like warfare values get harder. Monsters have more health. These tests are going to be a little bit tougher. So just know that there's 3 difficulties in Dungeon Crusade. Legendary difficulty. Some people have asked about it. Let's get this game done and get to the expansion. Going back to Paloom, she didn't. So she took her damage, but now she has to test physical resistance, where she's going to take physical affliction. And right here, this is terrible. Remember what I said? No hero is a superpower. She's terrible with physical. Her resistance to physical afflictions is very low. She's very susceptible to these. So we have to actually minus 2 from this result, and we have to test 12. So I'm not hoping. I don't think this is going to go good. That is absolutely freaking unbelievable. Not only did she roll a 1, but she's in the negative, guys. -1. Wow. So they both got that. I told you, I think a lot of you guys know I love tough games. This is a tough game, even on normal difficulty. They both have afflictions now. Thank you, Massive Viper. We're going to put that back. So now that that's processed, and I'm glad that I explained all that to you, we did kill it, in fact, correct? So let's take a look at this card, because we do have some rewards. We're going to be able to retrieve that quest item that we were after, so we did achieve that. See this 18 in the little treasure chest? That's a loot roll. And you're going to quite simply take a D20, and you're going to roll. And and you could choose the hero, whoever. Sir Brennus entered the chamber, so it might be appropriate for him to get this if they do. And what this is if we can score an 18 or higher, we're going to be able to go over to the massive loot deck and pull a piece of loot out. This would be awesome to end on this after getting 2 freaking physical afflictions. And then we're going to get to the gold here for a second. So let's roll. Nope. So picture this. It's like, as monsters go up, the loot roll is going to get better for you because it's a more difficult monster, right? That makes sense. Lobies, these lower monsters, it's a slim chance you're going to get one. But although we can claim it was carrying 200 gold, so we're going to come over here and we're going to get 200 gold. So we did get that. And we'll give that. And then you can decide, guys, if you're playing solo, you do what you want. But if you're playing co-op, you just decide, well, here, you take 100, I'll take 100, or give it to someone, or however you want to do it. That's how that works. And also, life force. By killing that, we gain 2 life force chips. And so right here, there's the life force. And then this kind of is a collective resource. This goes into a pool. You use this, remember the Eye of Life I showed you? You could use that to recharge that. Or you use that to purchase hero abilities from the academy. Okay? And you could use enlightenment. And we're not going to get into all that right now. But it's a very simple thing. You cash in life force and you can gain new abilities. Okay? So let me set this down. And I can't believe it. I'm going to have to, this is at the 12-minute mark. I'm going to be right back, and I'm going to show you one more champion monster, and then there'll probably be one more video in the series, and we're going to have to wrap it up. I will see you in a second.